here to talk about some more Star Wars Legion as usual. Joining me is Matt and Mitchem. And our last Spice Bro you have not met on the cast yet, Dylan. Welcome, Dylan. Good to have you here.
Hey, it's fantastic to be here as always.
For sure. But yeah, we've got Dylan on today to talk with us about this Galaxy at War event I put on with Travis. It was a couple weeks ago now. It was on May the 4th, of course, and Mitchem and Dylan captained two of the teams. That's right. It was a team tournament. It's pretty cool. But before we get into that, we have to do a little bit of hobby harassment per usual. How's it going, Mitchem? How's the painting going?
Well, I have good news, guys. I'm more than halfway done with my goal I set for myself this year. I had just finished up last night my 29th model of the year. I had been working on my Ewoks. Finally got them built, painted, reprimed. They look really good. And then the other day, over the weekend, I was working on my second FD here. You can see kind of in my indoor color scheme that I got to kind of go with my other one. So now I can run a indoor base, if you will, with my double FDs and everything that I want. And also a little sneak peekage action. So we'll talk about this later, but we have a tournament coming up this Saturday. And I was able to get a couple boxes of clone commandos. So I'm going to try to run 3 squads of clone commandos this weekend and see how that goes. Fully painted and based and ready to go by this week, the 18th. So wish me luck on that. It's going to be a hot and heavy hobby week, that's for sure.
Yeah, I look forward to chopping them up with my Wookiees that I have to finish by the end of this week. They're getting there. I've got some detail work to do still, but we're fighting. I'm going to buck the trend. Everyone's going clone commandos. I'm not for this weekend. I'm going to buy them when I get there. But yeah, I'm going to try to Yoda Wookiee it up. Probably going to go poorly. It hasn't gone well so far in my test games, but I think there's probably some learning I need to do. But I am excited, so I've got to finish up 18 Wookiees before Saturday.
Are you doing the Battle Force?
Oh yeah, it's going to be.
Have you played Yoda before?
I have played Yoda before. I played Yoda Barks a little bit, and then I realized that is far too big brain for me. So I played Anakin for about a year. So now I'm back. My brain feels a little bigger. I'm going to try to play Yoda Wookiees.
Man, look, guys, that's what a World's Invitational will do to you. It'll make your head super big so you can play units that'll actually win tournaments.
And that hurt me a little bit, but yeah.
Yikes. Well, I'm falling further into the hole on 60. I mean, I did get some done. I think I'm up to 15, 16 now. I was really pushing to get table pieces done for my Bespin table for Galaxy at War. It was playable at the tournament. There was some pieces that I thought looked really good. Like the fountain. I thought the fountain was done. That looked nice. Couple planters. Other stuff I did not have time to get enough coats of paint on. There was a litany of things that happened. I won't get into all of them, but like I had my 3D printer broke, and so Matt pitched in. I had another buddy pitch in, help print me some stuff, but I only had so much time. But I did get a few pieces done, so I got to add that to the counter, and then I've just got some more in progress. Got another swoop rider I'm working on here, and a little Shatterpoint Gar Saxon action going too. So it's going good. I'm still making the deposits, letting the plants grow, and then I'll just come in and harvest them all at once. It'll be great.
Do you have a number? Do you have a number that you're at right now?
I think like 15, 16.
Okay.
Out of 60, so I'm behind a little bit, but yeah. I'll get it. I'll just batch out some Black Suns 1 week or two, and
Nice.
I'll be right there.
You can come paint my Wookiees. I think that would count, right?
You know, I think I won't, but I appreciate the offer. I need to buy me some Wookiees, actually. I've been making a lot of rebel lists lately.
Oh yeah, those rebel Wookiees are where it's at.
I'm literally making like a Commander Luke list with every other unit in Rebels. Like I'm just doing the Lil Wayne thing. I'm like I'm gonna get all the lyrics out of my head, and just so there's only room for creativity.
The island of misfits units, right there. That's what you're compiling.
Oh yeah,
They might look pretty good. They might look good coming out of a bus.
oh yeah, 2 buses even.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
definitely playable.
Don't look under my desk here where there's a bunch of unopened boxes of shame, but there might be a bus down there. A second one. Anyways, Dylan, you got any cool painting projects you've been working on? Things
Yeah.
you've glued together? Hopefully not your fingers.
I mean, that's happened a couple times, but I'm putting the finishing touches on my Dr. Droid, the B1 Supreme, adding it to the Avengers collection for my B1 unit leaders.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and I got a Calypso from a different game, modeled after Kingler. But yeah.
Oh, there you go. So all Dylan's B1s are Avengers, which is
The unit leaders.
yeah.
The unit
all the
leaders.
leaders are Avengers, which is pretty hilarious.
I'm floating the idea of trying to make the units fit the leader at some point too. So like the Cap, Steve Rogers will just be all like Howling Commandos, and Tony Spark will
Howling
be different.
Commandos, yeah.
Yeah. And then Tony Spark will be different suits and
yeah, what was
whatnot.
he had the Legion, the Iron Legion, and that one in Ultron, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Make
cool.
it thematic.
I just hope you put really like bad wigs on all the Black Widow ones.
Oh yeah. The Hulk one is kind of unintentionally already in theme. It's all of my reject ones.
Yeah, so we'll have to throw a picture up on Instagram of those so we can check those out for the audience listening. And hey, if you're the audience listening, you know what you should do? You should hit that subscribe button so you know when we post videos. And shorts. We've got lots of cool shorts. And more stuff coming. Some cool interviews coming down the pipeline, so you'll definitely want to be apprised of that. So hit that subscribe. I won't say the other part of it. It'll make me feel too weird. We'll work our way up to that. But yes, so today we're talking about this Galaxy at War event, and what that basically is Travis and I had both sat down and chatted, and we're like, we want a different kind of tournament that is more of a narrative focused feel. We kind of bounced some ideas back and forth. I was like, all right, so we're going to make some weird multiversal lore on why there's like multiples of characters and they're fighting in different factions and stuff like that. We're like, no, that's dumb. That's going to take too much time. And so we kind of landed on the idea of each game having like a short story that kind of fits like why the objectives and the tables are set up how they are. And a big part of it is that you are playing as factions. And so we had CIS team, Rebel team, GAR team, Empire team, and then if anyone did want to play Shadow Collective, they could go on any team, which would be helpful because we needed even teams for this event, which that was a challenge in itself because people have things that come up. But luckily we had some subs that could step in, but that will be definitely one of the biggest things I look at is being able to handle asymmetrical teams. But so any questions on that before I go any further into kind of how it works more specifically, or
saying no, I'm the only one here that didn't go, so I had some FOMO, and I still just want to know, how it went, what was it about, all of it. So lay it on me.
Okay, yeah. So basically, in Legion, you're typically playing for victory points to then win the game, and if there's a tie, there's various tiebreakers for kill points and things like that. So in this event, we made it to where you were playing for faction points, and you could get faction points in a few different ways by winning your game. If you tied the game, both players got a smaller amount of faction points. We did make ties have the qualifier of that you had to get some VPs, though. You couldn't just do 0 VPs, kill point ties. And then we also had special objectives called faction objectives, and these were side objectives that you could play to earn more faction points. And these were, we gave a list to each commander, so each team had a player that was essentially captaining their team, and they would pick together with their team what the faction objective was. And they were pretty simple. Some were like, get a certain amount of kill points in your game, don't let an enemy get into your deployment. And then each faction also had one special, it was like a critical mission that they had to do. And these ones were a little bit more involved, but we tried to theme them to each faction. And then on any of the faction objectives, if the whole team scored it, on top of the faction points, they got a boon to take into the next round. One example of one boon is a player got to pick a rank of their units to all gain Scout 1 for deployment. So like I played in the second round someone who had Tons, and he gave all his supports Scout 1, so he scouted his Tons and his 2 FDs, and I was like,
very nice.
Okay, this is the past coming to haunt me. And then the other big method of scoring was this thing called character feats. Yeah. So character feats, basically we created a list of the unique characters for all the factions and 1 or 2 ways to score a point with that character. And it would be an example might be, I think for Anakin one was, I called it, I am a slow learner. And so it was, don't play any Anakin cards for the first 2 rounds of your game. Right. And so you once you scored for a character, that was it for that character for the day. You scored your feat points. So needless to say, it was a little imbalanced. Rebels and Empire had way more unique characters to pull from, but we kind of anticipated that, but we just kind of wanted to throw the spaghetti at the wall to see what would happen. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Mitchem captained Gar, and Dylan captained CIS. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about like what went into your all's team's thoughts on list building, and then we can talk about kind of how the flow of each round went for the tournament.
Take it away, Dylan. You go first.
That was CIS, and my team was myself, Amber, and Preston, a different Preston than the one that's been on the podcast before. He's newer to town. Really cool guy. My list to start off was Greg, General Grievous, a regular T-Series, Bosk, Maul, his probe droids, 3 B1s with a rad cannon, and then 2 blank B1s. And then Greg has Up Close and Personal, his Annihilator, T-Series has Improv Orders, Electro Binoculars, Bosk has Hunter, Targeting Scopes. Maul has Push, Into the Fray Tenacity, and I got Spicy with Saber Throw. And my thought there was, I'm just going to pick up, try to figure out all the close range tables, try to spec on where the Jedi will be going to try to proc Jedi Hunter on those 2. So as the B1s, Maul and Greg push in, I can have Bosk and the T-Series sitting back and taking shots at whatever is in range and trying to proc that with the Observe tokens from the Sith probe droids as well to get all the aims and extra rerolls on Bosk I can for those sweet, sweet crits. And then with Amber and Preston, we kind of just let it go to whatever they're comfortable with playing and just kind of going around that. Preston really wanted to go into the anti-armor Cad Bane. So when picking tables, I'd try to guess where armor was going to not terrific results, unfortunately for him. So those rockets didn't really contribute a whole lot to the CIS side. But the tank did some work. Lockderd was really cool. He was able to trigger his feat, which was panic a unit with Lockderd shots. And then with Amber, she was going with the Genosians, so I was going to try to pick anything out that had really high terrain and benefited from movement from both sides, so she can try to do her best to hop up and get the no cover shots from her Genosian warriors.
Very cool. I personally, just for a little funsies, played against your Rad Cannon droid list, and it is kind of wild. Those Rad Cannons are very. I was running Wookiees, so I was kind of coming into them, and it was a lot of damage that I took from some Rad Cannons. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, those rad cannons are pretty sick.
Yeah, when they get in there, they get sick. I get it. I get it. Yeah, and I also play tested it against
Got
Mitchem
him.
before the event, just to have a test
Twice.
of concept, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, they work.
So I'll step in here for a second. Dylan was talking about picking tables, trying to see where armor was going to go. So a big difference in this tournament was that you did not bring an objective deck to the table yourself. There were preset missions with tables set up. We had little cards representing the different planets you were playing the mission at. And so basically a commander at the start of the round, they would get the 3 missions that their team would go on. They would then pick their player that they wanted to go to that table, and then the other team would do the same, and then they would not know who they're playing till they got there. And so there would be a mix, and we definitely went the route of like, hey, let's put objectives and deployments and conditions that you normally don't see together. And then they were, I would say, pretty standard for round 1. Round 2, we started getting some more interesting ones. We got to not test these out as like we would have liked to, but it was just the two of us coming up with these. But I think some of them ended up being pretty fun, and we can talk more about those. I think the train depot was my favorite one with the moving train, but there was a lot of cool custom conditions and missions we had going on. But yeah, so just for reference there. So when he's talking about trying to guess where armor's going, that they literally didn't know. They knew what they were going to play, but not who they were going to play. So it's pretty interesting.
Very cool. Okay, Mitchem, I'm gonna go over to you. What were your lists? Give me your lists.
Okay, so basically, the GAR team, we wanted to prioritize getting as many characters into a list as we could to try to maximize the number of faction character feats that we could get. So we each in the beginning had at least 4 characters in our lists apiece. And so we kind of broke it down by the 3 top Jedis in GAR. So for my list, I took Yoda, Chewie, and then I had 5s, and I also had Boyle on my list. So kind of a pretty standard like Yoda list, really. On this, there's really nothing like out of the ordinary I wouldn't take here in just a regular tournament, besides just a few things. And I had played Yoda before, so I had the most kind of experience with him. And I like playing Yoda. There's a lot of like big brain strategies you can do with him, and it makes you really think about each move, because usually you're going to be down an activation or 2, so you really have to plan out your moves ahead of time and everything like that. Yoda's character feat was unique and relatively easy, I think, in my opinion, because it was guidance 3 units in a turn. And so it's just like, okay, the first 3 turns of the game, I'm going to guidance move 3 different units, and then I'm going to fire support with them. So I was like, okay, cool, I could do that. And then 5s was a little bit more challenging just because the command cards I brought were like all of Yoda's, and Yoda only wants to play his command cards. So I had to really kind of like work my way around of because Fives' was to coordinate 3 times in one game, to coordinate to a unit 3 times in a game. And so I was like, okay, well, a lot of Yoda's stuff is, give the order to everyone within range. Well, that's not coordinate. So I had to really kind of mess around. I was like, I'm just going to get this out of the way as fast as I can. So I knocked that one out. Chewie's was I had to Guardian 6 times, which was tough because no one was shooting at Yoda because he's so defensive by himself. And Chewie can only Guardian commanders, obviously. Boyle's was also tough because it was also Guardian 6 times. And it seemed like people weren't shooting anybody but Boyle. And I think that's because he has Scout. So I was putting him more forward than I should have. But overall, my team, the Gar team, we really tried to prioritize the missions at each table and the faction objective for the turn. And so that way, even if we lost, we would still guarantee, at least 5 points, hopefully, or at least 3 points. The other list, so we broke it down by 3 Jedi. So this is Drew's list. He brought an Anakin, R2D2, C3PO, and then he had Echo as well. So those are his 4 characters. This is a list that he's been running for a long time. He dropped like a strike team to add R2 and C3PO and to do some secret mission shenanigans. I don't think it really worked out for him that well because a lot of the deployments are unique. And then this is Travis's list. He was also on our team, a late sub for us. And this is just a generic Obi-Wan Cody list. Unfortunately, since he was a sub, he wasn't able to add in 2 other unique heroes into his list. I don't know which ones he would have added, but I mean, he did well with it, and he's been messing around with this list for a little bit, and I think it worked out for what it was. This is a list I kind of want to play as well. I mean, I think Obi Cody is really fun and be really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much the Gar, but I really liked the team element of this. So we would all kind of gather together, and then we'd each kind of look at the missions and be like, okay, I'm playing Yoda, so I want to play Hostage, of course. And then Travis had 2 barks, so he's wanted to play Breakthrough, and that leaves Drew with the other one. And we'd all kind of decide like which faction objective we think would be the easiest to get against the opponents. Like if we were playing against Rebels or CIS or Empire, which faction objective do you think we could get that round to try to just really maximize our points because we weren't 100% sure who we were playing or if we could get a win, but you're just trying to max out your faction points, which is different than victory points, which is a really cool idea and kind of really brought a whole new team element to it that I wasn't really expecting, but it ended up being a lot funner than I realized.
That was a question I had. It was like, were there like overall strategies you guys had or had cooked up? So that's good. I don't know, Dylan, did you have, what was your I see CAD, so that seems like a objective focused list, and then you've kind of got a bunch of heroes. So
yeah, it was pretty much like, is there recover on the map? Okay, CAD's gonna go there. If there's not like a good armor candidate, because CAD can do recover really well.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we knew the character feats would be up and down on balance. There was a ton to make, and there was some I might have misconstrued the keywords on some, and so they were a little tougher than they probably should have done. But I loved seeing lists with just units and personnel upgrades that we never see. Even Lock Derd was on the table. I've never seen anyone play Lock Derd in a list, so I thought that was great. I think character feats were pretty universal. Everyone liked the idea of that a lot. I think everyone agreed that they some balancing definitely needs to happen there. Some changes for GAR and CIS since they have less heroes to pull from to help balance that out a little bit. But yeah, I think when we do a second run of this, that's definitely going to stick around. Just try to create a little more balanced opportunity for scoring on those, I think.
That makes a lot of sense. What surprised you guys the most? I guess we'll go Randy down, Randy, Mitchem, Dylan. What surprised you most about this event?
I think for me is that it worked at all. There was a lot of moving parts, so it easily could have just fallen apart, and I think we might have like just said, hey guys, we're just gonna play normal Legion these round 2 or round 3, but people really dove into it, and I think that was probably one of my favorite things, is just seeing people really embrace being on a team and looking at the missions and strategizing a little bit. And a big surprise, and Travis was telling me this, pretty much everyone got through 6 rounds on all their games. Apparently turn 0 is what slows people down. Going to a table and just knowing what's going to be played, people just got to the game and they just got through them really quick. And I think it was just because there was so much objectives to be played. There was less maybe debating. It's like, there's always something for my units to do because there's always some kind of objective I need to be going after.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because, I mean, turn 0 does potentially take up to 30 minutes, depending on how it goes. So I could see cutting objectives, cutting deployments, that kind of probably just really speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, and we gave each team these bid cards as a way to kind of define red and blue player, and pretty much the bid was if you won, you got to pick your table side. I don't know how happy I was with that. That might be some change to that in the future, but I mean, I think it worked well enough for this opening salvo. That was the name of the event. But anyways, it worked well enough, and but yeah, maybe something simpler, especially, or something more scalable, I would say. Like, might just give each player like a 1, 2, and a 3, and then they just pick those themselves for the day. And that way, if there's 5 people to a team, we're not having to come up with more point numbers. So,
okay, Mitchem, what about you? What surprised you the most about the event?
Well, again, I'll reiterate. The team aspect really surprised me. I really kind of thought, I guess, it was like, okay, like we're gonna be on a team, we're gonna decide like which characters to bring, and then we're all gonna kind of play our own 3 rounds, really, and then we'll come together at the end and be like, oh, how many points did you get? How many points did you get? And but it seemed like after every round, I was like, Drew, Travis, did you guys win? Like, how many points did you get? Like, how many points did you get for a round? And like, we were trying to add up, like, okay, this is the total number of faction points we got versus how many the rebels got and stuff like that. So, and then, before each round, we would come together and I would spread out all of the like the packet that we got that had all the objectives on it and the planets that we were going to. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to play. Here's the deployments. Like, what are you guys thinking? What are you feeling? And then we'd all like talk over which faction objectives that we go through. So it was really kind of like a different side of wargaming. I haven't really experienced before, and like having a team with you in the middle of like a tournament, because like most war games are like individual sports almost, where it's just like you against the field. But it was really nice to have like 2 guys that you could like throw ideas around of like, okay, like my list doesn't really want to play intercept, but yours Yoda list might be better at that. Or like, hey, I can't really play breakthrough because I don't have any vehicles. Like, but Travis has 2 barks, so maybe he can do that. And then also too, like how close all my games were, because overall I went 1-1-1. I lost, or I tied my first game. We both had victory points, so we tied, but I still got faction points and my feat points, so I still contributed. My second game, I won very close. That objective was crazy. The like down ATST, recover the intel stuff. It came down to like a dice roll, and then I was able to like run away and get my point. And then Dylan and I's game was, if we were playing normal hostage, I would have won because of victory points, I think. But the fact that like we had our condition on the table was we had pikes that were shooting at us that would drop basically victory points if you killed them and picked it up. And so Dylan was like, basically, I don't know his whole strategy, but from what I gathered, it was, okay, I'm going to kill the pikes and then pick up the 2 victory point tokens and then just run away. So he ended up winning 4-2, which, any other game, it would have just been 2-2 because we both got our hostages back. And then me being clone ball, I would have just shot one thing and just gone away. So it really kind of pushed me to try to reach out and play differently versus that list with that objective. So the fact that all my games were really close, and even when I thought I couldn't win against Dylan, I still had something to do to score a faction objective to get faction points for my team. So even though halfway through the game, I was like, I can't win this, but I'm going to keep playing because I need to get the points for my team. So that was really fun and refreshing.
Very cool. I didn't know you guys played. So that's
we played
that's
Rest
fun.
Round.
Surprise.
Okay, Dylan, what about you? What was your biggest surprise from the event?
Yeah, I mean, I like the communal aspect for sure, but just for something different, I'm going to say how the custom conditions actually played out. Because it would have been super easy to have just been like, oh, this is going to be supply drop, but you look at the top 3 cards instead of the top 2, haha. But like, there was an actual train barreling down the middle of the map that would push stuff out of the way or shoot you or just do God knows what, and you had to physically move it. That was really sweet. Like, that kind of stuff. You have to like flip coin or flip condition tokens, and where they land, it has a different effect of like the meteor splashing or the train becoming unstable or anything like that. They're really fun and interactive stuff that just really switched up how the game is played at any given moment. I really like that a whole lot.
Yeah, that train one specifically. So if for people that don't listen, Travis has a lot of awesome cardboard terrain, and there's a cardboard train station he has, and ever since I've seen that train, I was like, gosh, there just needs to be a game mode where that train is just barreling down the track. And so yes, I put this whole event together just for that. No, but yeah. So that was cool, but basically each time a player went, they rolled a die, and depending on the result, the train would move. And I'm pretty sure I put an objective in the middle on the train track, so they would have to get on the train track to go for it. Or someone would shoot like a 3 white critical gun out of the train at a nearby unit kind of thing too. And the train would barrel down, and then at the end of the round it would move as well, and then just come back to the other side and go down the track again. So that was cool. Dylan mentioned the meteor shower. So like you stood away from the table and you flicked it like I don't know what that game is. Quarters, yeah. And where it landed, it created difficult terrain and possibly damaged stuff. And I'm trying to think of some other fun conditions we had going. There was one with like a force crystal kind of thing that like could suppress, but like it could help a force user like recover a force power kind of thing like that. I don't know. Was there any other ones you guys did? Did you play the down ATST, Mitchem?
Yeah, the
you
objective.
Played that objective.
Yeah.
So we threw that one in there, and the
meteor shower, that was really interesting. And unfortunately, the meteors were more concentrated against my opponent, so I wasn't really affected by them. So they helped me a lot, but it was still a really cool mission to play with that effect going on, and the fact that we were basically playing Long March as well really kind of made for a very tense, high stakes game. And it literally came down to a die roll on who was going to go first, like turn 2, because we both had like scout and guidance and like pull the strings and ways to get our units within base contact of the down ATST, like turn 1. And so we were like, my opponent Simon, he was like, okay, I could play this Palp 1 pip and make you and force you to choose which unit you're going to go with next. But the unit I need to draw is going to be in the bag. So it's going to be like a 30% chance I pull it and I get to grab it and run. Well, he did that, and he ended up not pulling the units that he needed till really late. So I was able to continue to go and grab it and just kind of hightail it out of there. And he wasn't able to get me. So that was really fun and super tense. And so yeah, it was a unique gaming experience as far as Legion goes for me.
Yeah. We threw the escape pod objective out there too. I think we just did like a normal deployment. And then my personal favorite condition, which I think ended up not affecting the game that it got played to very much, was annihilation. So basically it was the Death Stars fired, and so the board is shrinking every round, and if you have models outside of the bounds of the shrinking board, they just die. And it was intercept, so the idea would be like you can sacrifice a unit to run out at the end of the round, score that intercept, and then they would all die. But I think the way the two guys played it is they just both ran to the middle and just slaughtered each other. I think I looked at their table at like round 3 or 4, and there was like half their armies were gone. So
oh shoot.
So they got to moving. So
Rogue One style right there.
Yeah, they were like, hey, there's 4 points right here. I'm going to get those.
Yeah, that is precisely what happened. Yeah, it was pretty rad.
Very cool. Okay, this might be I think we covered a little bit. Looking back for Dylan and Mitchem, if you could change something about your lists, knowing now more about the event, would you change anything?
And I will say they didn't know what the character feats were ahead of time.
Yeah, so they didn't know. There's a lot they didn't know what the objectives were, and they didn't know what the character feats were. Mm-hmm. So now that you kind of know how at least the games are set up, would you make any changes to your list, or were you happy with it?
Overall, I was pretty happy with the way my list performed. I think the only thing I would have done was find a way to play a more untraditional list and add in more characters. Because there was a whole, like, we didn't bring Padme, which I could have used, and we didn't bring any vehicles. So we missed out on all the Saber Tank characters, all the LAT characters. I don't think ISP had any characters, unique characters. And then no one brought Rex. So I think going back, I would have built a list and crammed as many characters in as I could, and then see how many points I'd left over, and then try to optimize that way.
Okay.
So I think just having more characters on the table and just playing untraditional lists, I think that's what I would have done.
I want to go on the record. I said this in chat. I was outvoted. I think Hound and Grizzer should count as 2 characters. Because they're Hound and Grizzer. There are 2 individuals. One is a space dog.
Yeah, but their single name has only 1 dot by it. So it's one name with a dot.
I'm just trying to help my boys out.
It's one unique. They're bonded.
It wouldn't have mattered.
They're spiritually bonded as one character.
He was stuck in a non-existent lat.
Yeah. So
I don't even own a lat. My whole. I bet Travis owns a lat, but my entire team, I don't think we had a single lat between the 3 of us. So even if we wanted to, we couldn't bring it. But I'm pretty sure Travis has one. But I was the only one that had a Saber Tank that's not painted or built. I only have 1 ISP. So, and I wish Barks had a unique character that you could put on him. But
yeah. Okay, so more characters. Okay, Dylan, what about you? What if you could change something about your list looking back? What would you change?
I'm actually pretty happy with how things turned out with all of our lists. CIS, I think, only has like 12 named characters that they can use, and we have 3 on each list, so that's 9 that we had queued up. So we're leaving off Super Attack, Kraken, and Dooku, and I can't think of a situation where having one of those 3 would have been better in the long run. But yeah, out of those, I think it was good for what we were planning with, for sure. So I think everything went pretty all right.
You were running a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were running very heavy characters already, I feel like, so. And you went 2-1, sounds like?
2-1. I had to be on the podcast, so I had to go X1 there.
Nice.
Thank you. Boy.
Thank you. Mitchem, technically,
X1. I did not go X and 1.
Technically, I went X and 1.
X and 1 and 1.
Yeah. I'm going to give myself grace, though, because very much. Me and Travis played the last round actually, and
yeah, that was really funny.
I was just like, I'm just gonna dive in Maul, and if he dies, he dies. If not, and then I was like, hey, let's just call this and start cleaning up and get scoring ready. So
I'll say you guys are busy, so that's understandable.
Yeah. Because there was definitely questions, but
one more. The prize support that they found or it had was awesome. I think they had like 6 mugs that you guys found, and then they made custom cardboard championship plaques. Of course, they were cardboard because of Travis, but
yeah,
they were the prize support was really awesome. It was really really cool. And
Travis really came through on the paper goodies for sure.
I wasn't even certain that there was going to be prize support for a tournament like this, but
we lost Still in there for a minute. Hopefully he comes back. But
yeah, Travis is the cardboard man,
cardboard king. Yeah,
cardboard king. Yeah,
truly an artist. That is not. I'm 100% serious. Actually, a cardboard artist.
Yeah,
the stuff he's made is actually super cool.
If it's not, it's the closest you can be with it not being that. I had found like some 3D print files for like the New Hope medals I wanted to get to. Next time, that's the goal. But each commander did have a cool faction badge they got to wear.
yeah.
Also made out of cardboard. I think Josh actually made them, but I think he made them out of cardboard in honor of Travis. But yeah, each commander had like a general's badge or pin that they got to wear.
That was also cool to be flaunting my rank around everywhere. That was cool.
Yeah, I am surprised we actually got all of them back because they definitely wanted to take those home.
I really thought I was going to take mine home. I was really sad when Randy came up. He's like, "Can I see your badge?" And I was like, "No, I want to keep it." I'd wear it to every tournament.
Yeah. I'll also point out that I think it was cool for the prize support getting split for the whole placing teams. Just because I think every local community has those people that always place in the top and people that don't usually get to. So I think having a team event where, you might get lifted up a little bit and kind of get to experience winning something to go on one of these things is fun. And, that's...
winning as a team is always good. So it was really nice to, when you announced us as second place, I was like, oh, and I saw all the prizes. I was like, oh, wow, we're each going to get something. That's cool. So
I guess that's probably something we need to talk about too. Who won?
Oh yeah,
this event.
Whoops.
Yeah, so Rebels did come through with the W, and I think it was definitely off the back of how many character feats they were able to push through. But they did win a lot of their missions and character objectives. But I do think also that has to do with Rebels kind of like playing a hero hammer as to their strengths already. And so them shoving a lot of characters didn't necessarily degrade the quality of their lists as much as maybe some did for other factions. And then, Gar got second, Empire got third, and then, CIS came in last. I'll blame myself. I had just brought a list to... I was going to either play Travis if we both weren't having to sub, or there was a new guy who was going to come up, and I was going to possibly play him too if I didn't have to sub, but I ended up had to put on my my B1 helmet and go out there. So I just had Maul in my list. Shadow Collect doesn't have too many unique heroes to throw in. But it was great. Definitely a lot of things I want to improve on. But
as the first one of its kind, I think it went overall pretty smoothly. The first round had its bumps and bruises, but just because it was new for everyone. But rounds 2 and 3, I think went relatively smooth as far as like transitioning and finding your planets and giving enough time for teams to kind of coordinate what they wanted to do and stuff like that. By the third round, I was like, we kind of had our little like strategy talk down and what we wanted to do, and then it was over. So I was like, man, I want more rounds and everything. Like I want to keep going because we just figured out like what to do and how to talk and how to plan for it and everything. So
Well, yeah, I think it's awesome. I mean, it's the first step, first go at it. I obviously think, there's only room for improvement. It sounds like everybody had fun, but it sounds like there's a lot of stuff, that will be better. So I think it's very, very exciting. I want to go to the next one very badly. I had some unfortunate daughter birthday scheduling conflicts that I could not. It was very important I went to that. So, but I missed out.
Yes, very important.
Yeah, but I was jealous watching you guys play, and I wish I could have been there to try to help the Republic. But hopefully, I'll be there next time.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot more named characters going out there. We'll have all 6 more in Bad Batch, right?
Yeah.
Alone.
How is that going to work? Is that going to be the most OP? Someone's just going to be like, mine's Bad Batch. I have Bad Batch on my team.
Obviously. So I'm definitely going to have to rework how feats are done. I think we might allow some duplicate characters to be scored and give each character maybe 3 different objectives to score for their feat, and you can only score 1 for that character, but maybe there's a 3.1 that for Vader it's Kinslayer, and so you have to kill a Skywalker, whether it's Padme or Anakin, right? But that's matchup dependent, so you might not even get the opportunity for it. And then even if you do, it might be hard to do it, so that's worth more points. And then have a one that's doable on any table you play against that's a 1-pointer. And then for your faction, okay, well, 3 of us brought Vader. I scored the 3.1. He scored the 2.1. I scored the 1.1. And it and then what we could maybe do is CIS. There's 4 or 5 of those for a character, whereas for Rebels, there's only maybe 1 or 2 on each character, just to balance out the number of points you can get.
Something else you could do maybe is have generic ones that only core trooper units can get.
That's a good idea too.
Kill a unit in 1 dice pool or something like that, or score an objective 3 times, or just ones that, so at least there's 3 character feats guaranteed that every faction can get every round. So there's at least a minimum of 3 character feat points that each faction can achieve, with their core units, depending on how they play and stuff like that. And maybe you can have a generic special forces and support and operative, and just to give more options to people on how to score points that necessarily can't win the game.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe even just pulling in some unique heavies, like the BX sword guy, have him killing someone in melee, or the stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of room to play around for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely.
And I know you guys were kind of crunching to get this done, so maybe you guys have, after of course taking a break, because I don't want to stress you guys out.
Yeah, we were after it was done, we were man, that was fun. We are never doing this ever again. But a couple days later, we're all right, we're gonna at least do it one more time. So, and I'm sure we'll do it again, and then have the same circle of feelings there. But yeah, it was really cool seeing people play in their teams. That was definitely, I think Mitchem kind of brought it up. It can be a very singular experience a lot of times. And even I think other team tournaments, they're team tournaments, but you're still playing the game by yourself in a singular manner. And, that's how we all got to know each other and play together, was that Yavin-based team league. And it's not quite the same extent, but, there was us sitting down and strategizing who would play what table and try to match up against other players. And so this is probably just a further step on that. And I think it was cool.
Yeah.
Definitely want to see where it can go.
A lot of fun. Sounds like everybody had a good time, so I'm excited. And I know you guys worked really hard on it. So I think everyone appreciates the effort you guys put in on that for sure.
And shout out to Travis for being the print king. He printed off so many cards and papers and laminated them and stuff, and I was just I'm glad you haven't solved this, Travis. It was very clutch.
Very useful too. It was nice to have all the planets with the orders given out, and the bid cards were really nice that you were able to use and stuff like that. So it was really nice to have like a physical sheet of paper that I could give to my teammates and be like, hey, you're going to Cloud City, or you're going to Mos Espa or whatever. So
I kind of like that too. I mean, when we play tournaments, we see a table and we're like, oh yeah, it's kind of this planet or this planet. But I thought it was kind of fun labeling them.
oh yeah,
Yeah, even though it really didn't have that big of effect on the game, but
it added another layer of just like immersion to the game. It's like, oh yeah, we're playing Star Wars. Like
Yeah.
I'm literally in a galaxy far, far away playing a game in a franchise that I've loved forever. So
yeah, and all the mission papers, they had little blurbs like that. Yeah, they had little blurbs of
flavor text.
Droids are here stealing Tabana gas, and the Republic needs to secure it for their Republic fleet, stuff like that. So I don't know.
Very cool.
That was good.
Sounds awesome. I love flavor. So
flavor's good.
I think a lot of people appreciate that kind of stuff.
It gets lost in tournaments, in sweaty tournaments sometimes. You forget that you're playing a miniatures game in a make-believe galaxy that came out of movies from the 70s and 80s when you're sweating it out against your best bud trying to be the best player in the world. So it was really nice to kind of get back to the roots of mini wargaming and be like, oh yeah, this franchise is a lot bigger than most people expect and everything. So that was really cool. Again. So well done. Well done.
Very cool.
Yay.
So would you guys have anything else you want to talk about for Galaxy of War? I think we covered pretty much everything, so it's a good discussion.
When's the next one, Randy? May the 4th, 2025?
Yeah. It'll probably be next year, but I don't want it to be too ever. This time period right here, right after Adepticon, has always felt like there was a bit of a void of like a month or two. Like there's not quite as many big GTs or anything like that. And so it seemed prime. Ideally, we thought like, oh, we'll do this and then it'll come right around a points change, because that's when they'd happened in previous years. But I think it was still fine, just because the character feats changed up list building so much anyways that it still made it fresh and changed how people were building stuff. So
yeah, for sure.
Very cool.
Well, if there's no more questions, there's a tournament coming up this weekend, you guys are saying? Edmond Unplugged?
Yep.
And it's a LVO Invitational.
Full qualifier. And if you want to know about that, you can listen to our last episode that we had an interview with LJ, who is putting on that event. Yep.
Yeah. And even if you don't win, you can still get points for going top 8. So that should be really awesome.
That tournament also kicks off a multiple week league that we're doing up at Edmond Unplugged as well. So sign up and you can play skirmish games, you can play real games, as long as you're playing games in the store. Just come up anytime, play your dudes, win points. There's a lot of old alt art cards that they're going to give away as like raffle prizes and just week to week campaign prizes. There's Dooku, there's Leia, there's Fives, and what's the other command card? Alt art cards, I can't remember right now. But tons of stuff from old like OP kits and stuff that we're giving away and narrative events.
Was it the generic ones, but they were in Arabesh
yes,
instead of
there
English?
Are those. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to say the Obi-Wan, maybe.
Oh, or yeah, it's either Obi-Wan or
Dooku. Command cards.
It's either Obi-Wan or Dooku, because it's Obi-Wan chained up in the in Clone Wars.
So it's a lot of cool stuff. So sign up. We'll post a link in the discussion or in the description below that you can sign up.
It's a free league. Too.
It's a free league. There's no money. It's a free league. You can come out, even if you're a brand new player, just come up to Edmond Unplugged and you can you can play with any of the guys in our community. We'll be more than willing to get a demo game in with you that will count towards the league. We're just kind of wanting to get people back out playing again and get excited for the new LVO Invitational and just Legion in general and stuff like that. So, hit us up if you have any questions.
My life is going to be a little crazy coming up, but I'm going to sign up, see if I can maybe get a game or two.
I think I might sign up and just, even if I can only go play 1 week, there's a weekly raffle happening. So
yeah, exactly. The only stipulation is that the game has to be in person at Edmond Unplugged. But other than that, there's no other limitations. You don't have to have a painted army. You don't even have to have a fully built army. I mean, you can even borrow your buddy's army and just play. As long as you sign up with a free link, you are eligible to win prizes and get, and play some Legion. So
love it. It's awesome. Love Edmond Unplugged. My home store that's an hour and a half away.
You're a local game store. Yep. I need to do some brainstorming with the Spice Boys with y'all and kind of decide what kind of list I want to bring. I don't know if I want to bring like a Obi Padme like secret mission list where I just infiltrate Delta and her and just do all in on secret mission, or if I want to bring like an Anakin Goon Squad, or I don't know. So
what I've been kicking around in my head is like a gun line, but replacing the arcs with clone commandos, and then figuring out something else to do with all those points that I'll have. But I don't think that. It won't be quite as offensive. But I think it'll be.
I'm leaning towards like I don't know. I want to run Obi and Cody. But I just don't think that's good.
Do it. Listen to your heart.
I think Padme.
Yeah, it's just one LVO.
Yeah.
I know. But I think Padme Commandos might be the way to go. I think just to see this early on. But
infiltrate.
I just don't know what commander to pair with her.
And slap Echo onto a troop core
Echo,
squad.
Echo
just lethal 2 stuff all day. At range 4.
Yeah. See, I really need to be picking Dylan's brain because he's got some crazy lists.
I'm scared to go in there.
Rad Cannon B1 list was anything with the Hero Hammer CIS. So maybe I'll have Dylan make me a list for Saturday.
Oh, that's dangerous, but okay.
Gosh.
Here we
go. But yeah, so we've got that. And then I think June 9th, there'll be a tournament at Guild of Greyland and Shawnee.
Maybe the 8th, maybe the 9th, that weekend for sure. And
it's one of those days.
And I think Jerry of Jerry's Game Shop
might be streaming that one.
We'll be trying to stream.
Yep, I think they will be streaming that. Him and Colton will be hosting and streaming, obviously, the top table out there. So make sure you get signed up for that, or you can watch the stream live on Jerry's Game Shop.
Yep.
And
Jerry's Game Shop.
Most of the Spice Boys will be out there, I think.
X and 1 Rocks, 10% off.
Yep. Use code X and 1 Rocks at Gary's Game Shop for your Legion accessory needs.
I will be at Disney World, but I think everyone else.
And I will be at Disney World the week before you.
Hey, so
this leave a little thing in the park for Matt to try to find.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, can I create some kind of like ARG for him to have to like complete the Galaxy's Edge? And then I was like, I'll probably just end up drinking some blue milk and eating popcorn out of a Millennium Falcon.
Hey, we have a reservation at the Cantina. Did you get a reservation at the Cantina?
Whoa.
No, because they don't do a lot of food there. It's mostly just drinks. So, but I will be doing the Falcon with my family. I'm going to set my son up on the blaster and just let him tap that button as fast as he can.
Yep.
So
Randy's flying. Randy's flying ship.
Build some lightsabers with my daughter. It's going to be a good time. But all right. Well, hey, thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe so you can catch the next one, and we will see you then. So this is Randy, Matt, Mitchem, and Dylan signing off. Thanks for listening. Oh, X and O is just a game away. I almost forgot. You thought I was going to forget, but I didn't.
See you guys
later.
See ya.